Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rehab Experience. I'm Dr. Zev, and it's so good to be here with you this last Sunday of 2025 that we're going to be together, that is. And so excited to be here with you and so grateful to have been a part of your journey, your spiritual journey this entire year. It's been a great year. It really has. It's been a blessing to hear from, actually, so many of you who are still tuning in, who have found this network from my other work that tune in and share with us. And I'm so grateful for your support. I really am grateful to be a part of your spiritual growth and development because it is certainly an important part of what we need to grow to become who we need to become. And just excited to be a part of your growth and development, and just grateful that you continue to give me the opportunity to do that. And so let me just start the broadcast really quickly by just saying thank you. Thank you for your support. And thank you for just tuning in and sharing with us every other Sunday here at the Rehab Experience. And just excited to be here and be a part of what you're doing. That said, I got an incredible message to end this year. For the last time that we will talk, of course, there's one more Sunday in the year, and then we will be back with you the first Sunday in January of 2026, and can't wait to share with you an incredible message. And so we got a lot of last to do today, including the thing that we repeat every single Sunday, and we repeated every single Sunday here that we've been with you. And so just really excited about going through the declaration and being able to repeat that as we prepare to exit this year and get ready for another big and exciting year. All right. And so if you haven't already, like the video, share the video, make sure you let everybody know that you're tuned in to the Rehab Experience. And I'm really excited to be here with you and just grateful again that you would give us the opportunity to share with you on this awesome Sunday morning. And certainly hope and pray that wherever you are, that God is blessing you and he is blessing you and your family. Let's get to the declaration. I want to get that up. I want to get us going this morning. And so we can walk through this and get into this message and then get out of your way. I'm excited about today's topic. No more wasted time. It's going to be powerful. And it's really a space that I've been sitting in for about the last, I would say, month and a half, almost 2 months. And so I want to share some things with you that have really been impressed on my heart. And I believe today is going to be a blessing to you. But before we do, let's go to the declaration. What does REHAB stand for? Restore, Evangelize, Hope, Alternatives, Breakthrough. It's an acronym that represents the pillars by which we attempted to operate ministry, even in this virtual space. And so we walk through the declaration every time we're with you because this is an opportunity for you to set the tone for your week. We want you to set the tone for your week so that you're speaking positive things concerning your life and your family and your career and everything concerning you. And so we always start that declaration with that so that you are prepared to jumpstart your week in a positive way. So you'll see it on the screen. I'll read through it quickly, but I will pause here and there to give you a chance to repeat after me or read along with me. And we will get right into the message. Say this with me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me, and right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say this with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say this with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win. And my virtual row has the victory. My past is defeated. And my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say this with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Finally, say this with me. Breakthrough. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper, and I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. My very good friends, did you make this declaration with us today? I hope you did. If you did, do me a favor. This is the last time you're going to say this in 2025, at least with me. Now, you can wake up next Sunday and say this. I have no problem with you saying this throughout the rest of this week and the next 2 weeks. Certainly, if you're led to do so, because this has certainly been my testimony for the year, and cannot wait to release what we're going to declare in 2026. But for now, I want you to say this one final time in 2025. It's not too big for God. Would you do that? It's not too big for God. Make that declaration. Type it in the chat area. Type it and then at somebody's name and tag them and invite them to come in and hear this message today. It's not too big for God. I hope God has proven to you this year that there's really nothing that you can request of him or need from him that is too big for him. There's really nothing that you can request of him that you need from him that is too big for him. And I want you to hold on to that, because when you do, you'll realize that there is absolutely nothing in your life that you need that God cannot supply. There's absolutely nothing that you need from him that he cannot supply. And so I hope that is the case for you. And I certainly hope that you will continue to trust him. It's not too big for God. It's not too big for God. It is not too big for God. And I want you to hold on to that, not only in the rest of this year, but also as you prepare for 2026. Let me even say that you still have several more days left in this year. So if God has not done it for you yet, it does not mean he's out of time. It could mean that you're out of faith. It doesn't mean that he's out of resources. It could mean that you've lost hope. I need you to hold on to that and recognize that there's absolutely nothing that you need from him that he cannot do for you. And I want you to hold on to that and hold on to that promise with everything you have. All right, do that for me. And let's get ready to get into today's message. Go ahead and type, after you've done that, I want you to type today's topic: no more wasted time. I was about to reach over and hit my soundboard like I had it here. No more wasted time is what we're going to be teaching from. And we're going to be in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. And I'm only going to deal with three verses. Really quickly here. Ephesians chapter number 5. I have the English Standard Version. You get the version that works for you. Okay. No more wasted time is what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to be in the book of Ephesians chapter number 5, verses 15 through 17 in the English Standard Version. But I do want you to get the version that works for you. Y'all, I got dust all in my house from where they worked on my ceiling this week. And I got to do some more dusting. Feel like I'm going to be dusting forever, but hopefully I can wrap this stuff up. But I want to walk through this text because this is a powerful text here, and it's really going to show us some things, right? Ephesians chapter number 5, verse 15 through 17 in the ESV. You get the version that works for you. Let me read this for you quickly. Look at verse 15. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise. Verse 16. Making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Look at verse 17. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Now, there's obviously some context to this particular chapter, and I want to briefly walk through this context really quickly. In this particular chapter, it is Paul. Let me put this over here. And I have to throw my glasses. I just jump right in. It is Paul in Ephesians chapter 15 that challenges God's people to recognize the importance of the light that they are carrying through their behavior. Right? Obviously, there's so many ways you can summarize it. I like to summarize it that way, that Paul is challenging the light that they carry through their behavior, because he says in the very first verse of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1, he says, therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, which means he then goes through verse 2 all the way through verse number 5, where he talks about walking in love as Christ did. He talks about our behavior as it relates to how we engage with others. He goes through all of this stuff, but it starts off with us being imitators of God. And he goes through these things, and then eventually, as he goes through all of these things that we shouldn't do, he challenges us to recognize right around, I think it is verse 12 or 13, where he talks about the implications of this, that once we are coming to the light of who Christ is, it should in fact impact how we carry ourselves, and our behaviors have direct implications connected to that exposure to Christ. Then once we have that exposure to Christ, he then says, then we don't have parts of any types of darkness. But I saw something in this as I studied that was powerful. Because in verse 14, and I know I give you a quick overview here, but in verse number 14, notice in verse 14, what he says is, for anything that becomes visible is life. Therefore, awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. And there's something that I caught into this, and that is the connection really between us sleepwalking, as Paul refers to being sleep. He's talking about behavior. But we could also look at this and consider this in the context of us being not aware of not only how we should behave, but what our life purpose is. When people don't know their purpose, they don't know how to behave. I want you to record that. Put that in the chat. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week. When people don't know their purpose, they don't know how to behave. If you don't know your purpose, you don't know how to behave. And I see a lot of people who don't know their purpose, and so their behavior is a reflection of their ignorance. That word ignorant simply means to not be knowing, to not know. And so there are a lot of people that don't know how to walk because they don't know their purpose. And when you don't know your purpose, you're not going to know how to carry yourself. And so why is this important? Because Paul goes through all of these things that you should and you should not be doing. But then look at verse number 15. Look at what he says in verse 15. That's the first verse I want. Look then carefully on how you walk, not as unwise, but wise. Why is this important? Because when you walk with wise people, you make wise choices. When you walk as a wise person, you make wise decisions. How many unwise decisions that you make in 2025 that cause you to go down a spiral where you could not catch your breath and become the best version of yourself and live and breathe and move as the best version of yourself? And so absolutely, when we learn how to walk in wisdom, we learn how to walk in purpose. When we walk in purpose, it impacts our behaviors. Your behaviors are a direct result of you understanding your purpose and understanding the plan that God has for your life. Now, I get it. Not everybody knows the plan and purpose. Is a question I get a lot. Doc, how do you know what your purpose is and how to figure out what your purpose is? And there are a lot of different ways you can figure out what your purpose is. But the best advice I can give you is to understand those things that you value and understand the deeper spiritual meaning, or attempt to understand the deeper spiritual meaning that God has on your life, the deeper calling that he has on your life. And sometimes it aligns with those things that we desire. A lot of times it aligns with things that we don't want. I was telling a friend this week, we were talking about something, laughing about something. And I said, God got a sense of humor, because I said, there's something I don't want to do. And I said, I'm going to stop saying I don't want to do it because God's got a sense of humor. When you say you don't want to do something, it's mighty funny how life turns and you end up doing it, right? And so the better thing to do is to just live your life in a way and carry yourself in wisdom in a way that wisdom guides your behavior, and ultimately you're going to go down the right path. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he's going to direct your path. Your path being directed has less to do with you knowing what to do and where to go, and it has everything to do with you walking in wisdom. You need to walk in a kind of wisdom that gives you the ability to go in the direction you need to go, even when you don't know where to go. The wisdom that gives you the ability to know what to say, even when you don't know what to say. Right? And that's the kind of God wisdom that he gives to us when we are careful about how we walk, not as unwise people, but when we walk in wisdom, which means, y'all, let me just say this plainly, that the easiest way to really find your purpose is to find wisdom. Man, I wish I had my soundboard. The easiest way to really find true purpose in your life is to find wisdom. When you find wisdom in your life, you can absolutely find your purpose because you're going to be walking in the right path and walking in the right direction. Look at verse 16, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Then how does this work? Well, you're not going to be a time waster when your behaviors are of such of the wise. Let me tell you something. It's hard to be wise and a time waster because the byproduct of being wise is living a life that is filled with purpose and direction, intentional direction, purpose and intentional direction. It's hard to waste time when your life is filled with purpose and intentional direction. If your life is filled with purpose and intentional direction, you're not going to waste a lot of time, effort, energy, and spaces that are not productive or that are not conducive to the direction that you're being led and guided into. Y'all, we got to stop wasting time in 2026. We have to stop wasting time in 2026. If things are not productive, you've got to stop wasting time in those spaces. If things are not fruitful and in alignment with the purpose and the direction that God has your life going, you got to stop wasting time. Y'all, I want you to record this. Wasting time is a slap in the face of God's plan for your life. I don't ever want you to forget this. Wasting time is a slap in the face of God's plan for your life. When we waste time, we are literally slapping God in the face. You know why? Because he made us fearfully and wonderfully. He made us with thoughts and plans in mind. And so as we seek what that purpose and those plans are through wisdom, you ain't got time to waste time in spaces that don't align with the direction that you're going. And when you do, it's like trying to veer off the path that God has designed for you. It's like trying to veer off the path that God has created for you, engaging in spaces and with things that have nothing to do with the path that God has for your life. I'm telling you, got to stay on track. I don't want you to waste time next year and from this point moving forward in any space at all that does not align with God's purpose and plan for your life. And even if you don't know, I was sharing this with a group of subscribers this week. Even if you don't know what God's purpose and plan is for your life, you better off just sitting still and waiting than to veer off in spaces that have nothing to do with the direction that God has for your life. Patience, y'all. Waiting, spiritual matter. Waiting is a spiritual principle because it doesn't make sense in your mind to wait sometimes. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, what my plan should be. I need to be doing something. So you just go do something. That makes logical sense. Waiting doesn't. It makes emotional sense for you to grab the steering wheel of your life and do something because you feel like your life is about to crash. So you're going to grab the steering wheel and do something. That makes emotional sense. Doesn't make emotional sense to wait. Doesn't make emotional sense to trust that you're going down the right path, even if you don't understand it, even if it feels scary, even if it looks like you're going to crash, even if you have crashed. So I'm saying to you, let's not waste time down meaningless roads, down meaningless or with meaningless connections that are not being beneficial for the direction and the purpose that God has for our lives. You cannot afford to waste any more time in your life and spaces that are beneath God's purpose for you, that are beneath even the plans you have for your own life. Believe it or not, y'all, when you recognize God's purpose for your life and plans for your life, you recognize that you are actually too good for some things. You are too good for some spaces. You are even too good for some people. And I know a lot of you believers don't want to embrace that. I'm telling you right now to your face, virtually, that when you recognize God's purpose and plan for your life and you start walking in that, you will look around and then start to notice, I had no business over there. I had no business engaged in that space. I had no business engaged with those people. Those people, those spaces really can't afford, didn't deserve my time, effort, attention, energy. You begin to realize that there is a space of separation between you and those that don't share your same purpose and plan. I want you to hold on to that. Finally, I'll close it with this, verse 17. Paul says, then therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the will of God is. And it's really simple. Then if you look carefully on how you walk, verse 15, and you walk with wisdom, and while you're walking with wisdom, you don't waste time, then that keeps you from being foolish because your focus will be daily on understanding the direction that God is taking you in. Daily, your desire should be to understand God's direction and purpose for your life. And even if you know where you're going and what his purpose is, you still going to need turn-by-turn directions. You're still going to need turn-by-turn directions. Back in the day when I was a little baby, they used to call it a map. My parents used to reach in the glove department and pull out this folded thing and unfold it and find places and point to it and drive, and we would get there magically. Now you get on your phones and you got GPSs on your phones and you do these things. Even if you know where you're going, you need the turn-by-turn instructions to get there. So don't be foolish. When we waste time, we are operating in foolishness. When we waste time, we are minimizing and frankly insulting God's place and presence in our lives by taking for granted the precious moments he gives us every day to go down the paths that he's designed for us. Sometimes those paths feel great. Sometimes those paths to your purpose don't feel great at all. But your job is not to always feel great. Your job is to obey. Your job is to find the path that aligns with God's purpose for your life. In all your ways, acknowledge him. Doc, I don't know what to do. Then just acknowledge God. God, help me. God, you lead me. God, you show me the way. God, you open the door. You got God, make it plain. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and what will he do? He'll then make your path clear. I'm a living witness. I've been in critical crossroads in my life over the last 5 years. There were a lot of things that were going on that I did not know the next step. All I knew to do was to walk in wisdom and acknowledge God. When you walk in wisdom and acknowledge God, you have all the answers that you need. I want you to record that now. When you walk in wisdom and acknowledge God, you have all the answers you need. You have all the answers you need. And this is very important for this culture and generation that believes they got to always have all the answers to everything. No. When you walk in wisdom and acknowledge God, you already have all the answers you need. And I need you to rest in that. I need you to rest in knowing that as long as I've got God, then I'm going to be walking in wisdom. I'm going to be locked to my purpose. I'm going to avoid foolishness at all costs. And I'm going to seek daily to understand the will of God. And if I'm seeking daily to understand the will of God, it's impossible to be seeking his will and wasting time at the same time. It's going to be impossible to seek his will and waste time at the same time. So just let's prepare to end this year, but prepare for 2026 in a manner where we say we're not going to waste time, but we're going to lock in on our purpose. So then through locking in our purpose, we honor what God has created us to be and to become. But at the same token, we continue to move forward and closer daily in the direction that he has planned for us. If you do that, I'm here to tell you, if you do that, you're not only going to not be a time waster, but you're going to find your days and your weeks and your months being so much more productive and more fruitful. Ain't no garden growing that you don't tend attention to. Your life ain't going to grow if you keep wasting time. Time is your seed. Time is your currency. And you've got to sow time into your purpose. You can't waste it and throw it away, but you've got to sow into it so that you can reap the benefits of it. Y'all, was this a help to anyone? I hope it was. Was this a blessing to you? If it was, fill it up with hearts. Do that for me really quickly. If this was a blessing to you, fill it up with hearts. Really just excited to be able to share with you this morning and grateful that you've taken the time to share with us. Do me a favor, type in your prayer request in the chat area. Do that for me really quickly. I want to pray for you. We're going to pray and want you to know that we've been up this week. This was a very hard week for Doc. Very hard week. A lot of things going on, a lot of projects, a lot of responsibilities, but we made it. And very rough week, but I want you to know we were still up praying over your prayer request. And I want you to know that I'm continuing to pray for you and everything concerning you and your family, your loved ones, anybody connected to you, any situation connected to you. If you've got a prayer request, put it in the chat area. Maybe you've got a prayer request that is too deep on your heart and heavy on your heart, and you can't type it. No worries. We're still going to pray for you. I just want you to clasp your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. Everybody, if you've typed in your request, connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. Now let's prepare to pray for one another for this final time in 2025 as we get ready for an exciting year called 2026. Connect your hands like this as a sign and symbol of faith. Let's pray and touch and agree. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for this time of gathering and sharing that you've given us. It's my prayer that something was said or done that has empowered your people in a special way. Help us to be reminded this week of the critical importance of not wasting time. We don't want to waste time in any space, any place or connection that does not align with the purpose and the plan and the direction that you have for our lives. Help us, God, to be able to decipher what is time worthy and time wasting through understanding your purpose and will for our lives. Help us to walk in wisdom. Help us in all of our ways to acknowledge you, and not only acknowledge you, but to ask for more wisdom from you. Because we know that if we ask you, you'll give it to us, and you'll give it to us in a liberal way. God bless your people with wisdom in an extraordinary way, so that through wisdom, we don't waste time in spaces and in places that don't belong to us, but we might remain lockstep and focused in the direction and plan that you have for us. Now, God, for every prayer request that's been typed in the live, for every prayer request that's on the hearts and minds of your people, for every prayer request that's being typed in the replay, we lift it up to you now, and we ask you that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can. We want you, God, to make ways, open doors, meet needs, grant heart's desires in a special way. Literally open up the windows of heaven, pour out blessings that somebody might not have room to receive. We want you, God, to bless us going out, coming in, good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Literally send people into our lives to be a blessing to us because of the way that you have covered us. God, we promise you that if you bless us in this season, as we close out this year, and you continue to bless us in 2026, we'll continue to give your name the glory, the honor, and the credit, because it all belongs to you. Finally, God, we thank you for keeping us and watching over us throughout this entire year. We lost some things. We lost some people. We even lost some challenges. But God, thank you for keeping us here and keeping us present. And we ask, God, with a heart of gratitude, that you would not only continue to keep us in that place of gratitude, but that you would continue to open up windows of blessings in the year to come. We count these things done and believe you for them in Jesus' name. Amen. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type in the chat really quickly. It is so. Hurry. It is so. It is so. God's answering prayers. He's making ways. He's opening doors. He's meeting needs. It is so. Hurry. It is so. It is so. I felt like I was so far away from y'all. It is so. It is so. If you are listening and tuned in this morning and you want to be saved, I want to challenge you. If you want to be saved, the Bible tells us in Romans 10:9, and I paraphrase, that if we confess with our mouths and believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation, my friends, has absolutely nothing to do with how perfect you are or not perfect you are. It has everything to do with the fact that Jesus Christ lived and died for your sins so that you don't have to pay for them later. I want you to give your life to Christ this morning. If you want to be saved, I want you to stop what you're doing. Maybe you're driving, pull over. Maybe you're in the shower, cut the water off. Maybe you're in the bed. I need you to sit up and pay attention, because I want you to repeat this prayer of faith right where you are, and God's going to save you right where you are. You want to be saved? Say this with me. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws, and I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross, but 3 days later rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My good friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made an incredible decision. Now, go find you a church home somewhere where you can continue to grow in your faith and continue to become the best version of yourself. Find your church home where you can surround yourself with other believers who can also help you grow in your faith. Maybe you're tuned in and you're like, Doc, I don't really want to do that. I want to just continue to tune in here. Fine. I will be here. And I would love to be a part of your spiritual journey, even in this virtual space. But the most important thing today is that you made the decision to give your life to Christ. And I want you to hold on to that and continue to grow in your faith in a very special way. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. Let me say it again. Thank you so much for all of your support in 2025. I am so grateful for you. The prayers and support, the kind notes and words that so many of you send to me directly. It means so much to me. And I'm really excited to see about what God's going to do in 2026 and beyond. And I hope you are as well. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Peace and blessings. And the next time you'll see me on this broadcast will be in 2026. I love you, praying for you, rooting for you. Have a tremendous Sunday and an early Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Take care.